actually live. Welcome to the crazy world of Nikki. Welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. As I'm still trying to set up and move everything around so that I have proper lighting. Anyway, I welcome you. I hope you had a good weekend and are having at least a decent week. And here comes the pup with a toy. Why does this not surprise me? Anyway, see if I can get this. I thought I'd have this all set up by now. It's been a long day for me, as it has for many folks, I'm sure. There we go. That's a little bit better. Anyway, hello, Amy. I'm glad to see you here, dear. Okay, so, I need my phone for this because I had questions from folks and I got permission to, where to go? May I use your question on live broadcast tonight? No names given. Hey, sweetie. Okay, so this person, you've got to be kidding me. You are fortunate I can even throw that. Hi, guys. I gotta move this back so that I can actually read my phone. So somebody made me aware of some information. You want to play, and unfortunately, I can't do that kind of picking up, so I'm going to have to use this. If you drop it on the floor, I'm going to use the grabber. Yeah, you drop it on the floor, I'll use the grabber. There you go. Anyway, so let's see, excuse you. Let's see if I can find the question again, because I want to get into this. So there was a question that somebody had. Well, it wasn't just this one person. I've been questioned about this a number of times, and I want to make it very clear. If it's my question, you can use my name. No, honey, it's not. This is somebody else. But I wrote them a response, and I want to read the question with the response. So it's okay, so they said, I have a question. I watched a video and you were talking about how the CIA get into your dreams and they are trying to learn how you do a certain thing. My question is, if they have been remote viewing for over 30 years, how come they don't know how to do something that you can do so easily? It seems like they are trying to learn this stuff to conquer the rest of the countries or people in other countries who can also protect themselves. They do listen to everything we have electronic. Yeah, actually they do. Hi, sweetie. Apparently I'm his play toy tonight. So these are very good questions, and so this is a threefold response to those questions. And Amy, you're going to have to remind me of your question because I know I've got it. I just didn't intend to go over it tonight, but I most definitely can. I'm doing a bit better than I was even an hour ago. An hour ago, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to come on. I've really been hurting a lot today. So, and I'm not on pain meds right now, though I should be. Amy is responding. She says, easy, they are doing it for all the wrong reasons and their own souls are not ready. No, they're not. The things that they're doing, their souls have significant consequences for doing, like very significant consequences, so much so that the other side has told me pretty in detailed information and yet vague enough information at the same time in what's going to happen to these people's souls just before they to the physical, just before they pass and then after they pass. And I'm not getting into that publicly. That is they've got consequences coming, and it's insanely specific and vague enough to scare the living shit out of even me. So it's pretty tough, the stuff that they've got coming to them for doing what they're doing to. And I'm not the only person they're doing this to. They're doing this to so many people. We're talking thousands of people, and they're targeting very specific individuals. Okay, I don't know if yeah, that didn't go very far, and that actually cost me. So, okay, so no, I'm not playing that game. Okay, so this is what I responded to this individual. Regarding the original agents who were CIA, who were military, that's phase 1. They are different than the ones who come at me now. They're very different than the ones who come at me now. You've got to be kidding me. Really? You really want me playing this much that you're willing? Wow, that speaks volumes. What level you're at right now. There you go. So there's 3 different phases, 3 different sections of them. Okay, so each section goes deeper and deeper. Hopefully that makes sense. The first ones, they are CIA. They are chosen out of the military. Okay, I do not know how they're chosen. I don't give 2 shits how they're chosen. But they're chosen out of the military. These folks are not retired, from what I understand and from what I've witnessed. These are people these are men and women, mostly men, that are in their early 30s. And they are continuing in their military service, but they are like semi-retired as well. It's like they've been offered very specific things, and I can't get into any of that. I mean, I can, but it's really in depth, and I do not have the brain for that right now. So they're military. They're chosen from the military. They went into a program that teaches them how to psychically attach to a sleeping human being and access that human via the person's dream state. In other words, they access the person during the person's REM sleep phase. Okay. Hello, Woo Writers. So they literally, and it gets very convoluted very, very fast. But that is what they do. I didn't even know that this was a thing. I mean, I was told by somebody, but I didn't believe them. I outright, and this person could easily be, and the squeaking that you're hearing is one of the many dog toys that's got a squeaker in it. So the point being is that they so what I saw when I psychically unexpectedly had to protect myself, One of the things that they had originally done was that they were connected via some kind of device, some kind of machinery. That was how it was originally done, because I got to see psychically. Well, no, it wasn't just psychically, it was telepath. Well, yes, okay. I need to make clarification. It was psychic, but it was also telepathically. I was able to see into two of their minds, two of these men's minds, and what they themselves had been doing over the course of their timeline, not timeline, over the course of their lives with this section of government. Okay. So this is how I know what I know, because of they were still connected to me. What they didn't know and what I didn't realize until I'm seeing it in my own head was that I had inadvertently, I know how to do it now, but then I didn't have a freaking clue. Inadvertently saw into their minds, and because we had this psychic connection. And if I had not have gone through what I went through, and I got to be careful with dates here, very careful, because it will ID the individual. So in the mid 2000s, okay, somebody had psychically connected to me, my friend, who was government, very good at what they did. They even, my guy, I want to say that and I can't. They wanted to know who I was. What I will say is they wanted to know who I was. So I have a dossier. I found out from them that I have a dossier. And I was like, why do I have a dossier? I'm nobody. Which made no sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me, because I wasn't talking. But apparently, quite a lot of people have, quote unquote, dossiers on them. That was a hell of a shock to me. Real big shock, actually. And it was rather a shock to them, too. I did not intend to go into that. That tells you how out of it I am. Anyway, so these people, these military, this is a one stage. This is one level of the stage, okay? So this is what I wrote back to this person. I said, because I mistakenly asked a retired CIA agent who was a profiler and a professional hypnotist in his job with them, and where, because I was psychically overwhelmed at the time, this was in 2019, I believed that he was a good person regarding certain things. So I went to him to ask him about a government book that I knew about that contains everything that the U.S. government has ever had knowledge of in ufology, quote unquote, where I stated, quote, I want to know if that book is real or fake, end quote. Because I mistakenly chose to ask him, he turned around after he got home and turned my name over to a buddy of his in the CIA. And 4 days after I got home from that specific location, I had a 4-man team of these CIA, military, what I call government asshats, in a lucid dream that I was having. And now in a lucid dream, you control the lucid dream. So I knew these individuals did not belong. They had accessed me during my REM sleep. I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't believe this was possible. I got told from my friend in the mid 2000s. I was trying to figure out how to say that. I keep trying to say mid 2020s. That was really wrong. Sorry, so I'm very frustrated with my brain at the second. But anyway, so that's what took place, okay? So they accessed me, psychically accessed me, created their image to look like police officers in the dream, because you can do that. Once you're in dream state, you can create and build anything you want. Okay. And there were originally 3 of them, but there was a 4th one farther off in the distance. And I don't know if that 4th one was real or not. I could not get a sense on him, but I could definitely sense the other 3. They were very real. They were alive, living, and walking, talking in my dream. And I exited my dream while they were still connected to me, psychically. Okay, Rue Riders, the truther community lost a very good person, Renetta Jones. Please keep her and her family in prayers. When I was younger, a hypnotist tried a session on me. I couldn't help myself. I the whole time acting like I was hypnotized. I was probably 12 or 13. I remember telling my mom that was a waste. Yeah, some people cannot be hypnotized. Supposedly I'm one of them. That's a whole nother subject, though. Because the CIA agent that I had gone to talk to about the book, because I had questions, and I had been asking by 2017, 2018, I had been asking people in the ufology community whether or not, because I had actually heard by this point that there were certain fake books. And I wanted to know if what I read, what I had my hands on, was a real book. Come to find, or it wasn't a book that somebody faked and made to look like it was real. Okay? And so, hey, hon, how you doing? It's good to see you, Arden. I hope I pronounced it right. Really get annoyed at myself when I mispronounce people's names. So anyway, I hope I said it right. It's good seeing you. So that individual, during me asking him, he literally on the spot tried to hypnotize me. Okay? As he's trying to hypnotize me with multiple other people around, there were not a lot of people, but there were some. My point being, he did this in public, complete and total public. We're standing in a room that was nearly empty, but there were enough people around. Nobody caught on that he was actually trying to hypnotize me. Nobody caught it. Not even the military guy that, I can't say who he is. Anyway, there's a lot of people that I met at that conference during that time. And there's only 2 that I would recommend. Artoon, thank you. But close, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, dear. Very, very much. Anyway, cartoon Project Blue Book was fake. I know since I looked through it. Yeah, that's a whole nother subject. So basically, what ended up taking, I gotta move. Hang on. No. Hang on a minute, guys. Sorry. I've had this much pain today. If I do not move this leg, it's gonna cause many more problems. Wrong way. Right way. Okay, so basically, these three military guys that were working for the CIA, a section of the uppermost section, but it's still deep ops. It's still why is that on? It's still a form of deep black ops. Okay, so people need to understand that this is not something that is within the regular CIA agency. As far as I understand how this is how I understand it right now. And has, hey, Drew, good to see you, dear. So I had asked about this government book. 4 days later, I'm having 3 that I can confirm, possibly 4 CIA agents, military operatives, psychically connected to me. My goodness. And I get a look. The dog is happy. That's a good thing. Anyway, the point being, okay, the point being is that and there are certain people that are friends of mine that the Asshats have tried with them. And we've had confirmation of it. So if I have somebody who's very close to me, like really close to me, they get nailed. Not every single one of them, but many of them. I mean, these guys have tried because they think that I have told information to my really close friends. There's information I don't tell anybody about because it keeps them safe. There are certain things I've told, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough to make a hill of beans or a mountain of beans. Let's just put it that way. Old style. Okay, so here I've got a 4-man team psychically connected to me, and in a lucid dream, and all I knew was I was in control of that dream. I got 3 strangers walking up to me who represent themselves as police officers, and I knew it was bullshit because nobody should have been in that dream. This was a safe place for me, or was supposed to be a safe place, and they showed up. Okay, so that is how I knew that they were not supposed to be there. There were too many factors for it. It wasn't just the uniforms. It wasn't the fact that they were walking, talking military. And typically when they're newbies out of the military or newly retired, however you want to classify that as, there's a certain walk, there's a certain talk, there's a certain way that military men and women carry themselves. I had a neighbor who lived in the 90s, who lived down the street from me, who was in, oh God, I can't remember the name of it's the desert thing in the 90s. And she came back missing a toe, or anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, she was missing a toe and had some kind of other interesting thing with her going on with her leg, But even so, she held herself a very specific way. Okay. She carried herself a very specific, you could tell. If you were around military at all in your life for almost any length of time, you would recognize, especially if you're observant. Hello, back then, I was extremely observant. I mean, I had well, I still do, photographic memory, eidetic memory. Granted, because the targeting, it's diminished a little bit, but not a lot. And then you get the age factor kicking in because I'm 57. So you add all of that stuff and it's I can still walk into a room, look at the room and tell you almost everything that's in it. But it's not the level that it was even in the 90s. That said, I can tell you those memories from the 90s. I mean, they're still very clear in my head. All I have to do is open up in the way my memory works. Everything's in file folders and then in not closets, cabinets, office file drawers, filing drawers, metal filing drawers, and like walls and walls and walls of them. And all I have to do is go into my memory and have a trigger and boom. I mean, the whole thing. I can tell you by the season what time of day it was. I can tell you, I mean, it's not like some people to where they can recite chapter and verse every second. I'm not like that. I never have been, but I can, even when I was a kid, I could walk into a room, take a look at it, and tell you everything that was in that room. That's why I used to draw, because it helped get it out of my head, so to speak. I mean, it never really got out of my head, but it got it out to where I could manage and deal. So this is one of the reasons why, and I'm not autistic, I'm dyslexic. This has always been described to me as part of my dyslexia. Now I'm sure they would classify it as some version of ADHD or something, but I was not one of those kids who could never sit still. I could sit still, but my mind was always working on 7 to 9 projects in my head at the same time that I was having a conversation with somebody. And a lot of times they'd be very in-depth conversations. So whether I was a kid or, I mean, I was always like that. So, so when you've got 3 men walking up to you acting like police officers, and you know damn well that these individuals are not in or part of your lucid dream that you yourself are in control over, piss poor timing on their part. I was doing a lot of lucid dreaming during that time frame. Well, actually, during 2016 to end of 2019, early 2020, because, excuse me, with everything that was going on with my mom at the time, it was a release for me to be able to do that. Well, they didn't know that. They didn't know anything about me. This was another job to them, and they came in. Unfortunately, for one of their men, it cost them their part of their brain and their psychic abilities, because I defended myself. And I make no bones about that. This was full on self-defense on my part, because that's a form of attack. That is a form of psychic rape. You're doing that kind of shit to another person, that is a form of psychic rape. Okay? I don't give 2 shits what anybody else calls it. It is psychic rape. All right? So I defended myself. And I was put into a major panic because I didn't know not only did I not, I knew that I defended myself with everything in me. I wanted them gone. When I woke up, when I deliberately woke myself up, sat straight up in bed, legs over the bed, and out of the bedroom into the living room as fast as I could, I did an energy burst that was so strong, it not only took out the lead guy that was the main source of the connection to me, psychic connection to me, but I wiped out the entire property because this energy was that strong. So the property that I lived on was a multi-level A through O building complex. 3-story complex, 18 apartments per building. The entire property, I took out every spirit guide, every angel, the energy was that strong. For 2.5 days, that place was vacant. And there I got the attention of the hierarchies because of that. I got the attention of a lot of spirits. I got the attention. It became like a major beacon to me for from the paranormal. So this didn't just affect this one incident. This affected on a grand scale. Okay. I became known on the other side because of doing this. I mean, I really became known on the other side for doing this. Found out the hard way. And I also found out what it was like for the very first time in my entire life, what it was like not to have spirits around talking all the time, what it was like where it was quiet, where I didn't have somebody yammering at me all the time about this or that, or can you do this, or can you do that, or, oh, we're going to show you that. Even my own spirit guides, they bugged out. I mean, I got the attention of the earth energy too, the tree energy. I mean, I got really well known by the Fae as well. I mean, people, beings, whatever, started paying attention. And anybody can do this. This isn't just about my strength. I was under attack. And I defended myself with everything I had. And I ended up, because this guy was still, well, all 3 of them were still connected to me. But it was their lead guy that was the main source of how they accessed me. And that lead guy, I got told the following day when I went to bed, I was terrified to go to sleep. Matter of fact, I reached out to a lot of different people that I knew going, help me. You got to help me. I got to be able, I am truly terrified as to what I can do. You got to help me control this because I don't know how I did it. Back then I didn't have a clue. I just knew that if I had to, I could do it again. It was later on that the next stage hit. So I'm at stage 3 now. But the next stage became the CIA, retired CIA. Hey, Kai. Who were an astral and who got told to stay away from me. And the only reason I know that is because this retired CIA op, who was a psychic, who could do astral, was part of a completely different subsection of the CIA, Again, I didn't even know that this section even existed. I didn't know any of this existed. I honestly, I thought my friend, the government friend who's now dead, long dead, it's been a number of years since he's been dead, and I miss him terribly. Yeah, it's a whole nother subject. I have choice words for the country, for the other countrymen who took him out. I honestly hope you get yours, and I hope you get it right up the ass and right through the brain. I got choice words. Because you took out a good man, even though you don't believe he was. Anyway, when he told me about what government was capable of, I didn't believe him. I should have, because I knew. And the only reason why I even knew about these kind of connections was because of him. He allowed me one night when he was extremely drunk, and I was like, darling, you were going to tell me something before you even started drinking. Well, I'm not going to tell you, Nikki. I'm going to show you. I went, what? What do you mean you're going to show me? And he goes, I want you to get really comfortable in your chair. And I did. I'm about to start shaking because I don't think it's been a long freaking time since I've talked about this. Preferably without the tears, please. Okay, I need to say something. My hormone levels are off the charts right now, so I've been emotional the last couple of days, which doesn't help with all the work I've been doing. I've been doing an extensive amount of combination of psychic work and computer work, and the emotion level is driving me up a freaking wall. So my hormones right now are off the charts. So I do apologize for the tears. It's not normal this normally doesn't even faze me. It's just I miss my family. Different form of grieving. I miss my family right now. Damn. Anyway. So I didn't know that this was even possible. And he said, sit back, relax. And he said, you and I are going to connect. And he said, what do you see? And well, I had my eyes closed, and he said, what do you see? And I said, why is there a door in front of me? And it was a very specific, but yet nondescript kind of door in my mind. And I'm like, where the hell did that door come from? And he said, Nikki, close off your mind. And I went, what do you mean close off my mind? And he told me how. And I said, okay. He goes, otherwise I'm going to be able to walk through your entire mind. And I went, like hell. And so we were on the phone this entire time. I had a headset with a microphone that was like this. Came down and talked, and one ear. Very different than how I do things now. Very different. Sorry, kind of. Anyway, he said, I'm going to show you something. He goes, I want you to walk through the door, but I'm going to make it in black and white. What you see is going to be in black and white. And I said, why? And he said, because what you're going to see is something that I've never shown anybody else. And I don't want to freak you out. And he was drunk as a skunk when he did this. I mean, like hardcore frickin'. There weren't very many times that he would allow himself to get that drunk. And I found out what kind of power he had, what kind of energy he had. And he talked about how he was taught this and how much the government had, how much money the government had put into him. He goes, I want you to see something, and I don't want to frighten you. And I said, okay, that alone should scare me because of who you are. I said, but it doesn't. He goes, good. He goes, then you'll be able to handle this. And I'm like, I hope so. He showed me how he kills. He was an operative for the government. He showed me his technique in combat, in battle. And it's very specific. And he blacked out. Blacked out is not the word. Phased out, that's not the right word either. Phrase, it's not the right phrase. He blurred out. I could not see it. I could not see faces. I could not see. He changed uniform colors in what he showed me. He showed me him when he was younger in what he could do. And I said, why are you showing me this? And he said, because I want you to know what can be done. And he said, I suspect. Sorry, it's been a while since. He goes, I suspect that you have abilities that you haven't realized yet. And he was right. He said the fact that you could see that door as quickly as you did told him basically what level I was at. I was trying to figure out how to say this. Sorry. Ugh. Okay, and the other one's starting. So he then taught me. Now, there were times he tested me to see if I could tell when he was really drinking versus when he wasn't. And I knew that he was, he was drunk. Even while he was talking about this. And when he sobered up, we had quite the conversation. And he said, yeah, I know. I know that I was, I'm not going to say, I keep wanting to say the words that he used, but I cannot because those are dead giveaways to certain, the phraseology are dead giveaways to certain things. I'm starting to shake. I'm scared about talking about this. I'm like really scared to talk about this. Anyway, my point is, fucking emotions. Point is that there were a number of things that he started training me on. I didn't even realize that came down. So he started teaching me how to protect my mind. I did tell him about the book. it was quite a while. I trusted him enough to where I told him about the book. And really, it was after that. It was quite some time. I'm trying to think of how long it was, but it was quite some time after that that he started teaching me how to lock my brain down. He said, what you're doing is not strong enough. And so he started to teach me how to lock my brain down. From anybody who would try what has been tried. And one of the techniques that he taught me, which I don't talk about this very often either, is when I have publicly stated, which is few and far between, but when I've stated it, like I'm about to now, he taught me to lock it down in such a way to booby trap it. To where if somebody tried to access specific kinds of locked down memories, it would kill them. And he told me how he learned that. And that wasn't from government. He learned that from, I'm not going to say that. He learned that from other people in other countries. I will say that. Specialists, let's call them, in their field of interest. Still trying to figure out how to say it. But that's as best as you're going to get publicly. Because as I'm telling you, guess who else is watching this? Guess who else is listening to this? Guess what else they're accessing by this? One of the things that he told me was that they didn't know that he could do the things that he could do. He kept it hidden from them. And it's a damn good thing he did. His family didn't even know. His own family had no idea what he did for a living, so to speak. They did not know. Sorry, somebody just said something to me. One of my family members on the other side, who's sitting on my couch right now, which I didn't realize until they said something. Because I'm too emotional right now, and anyway. So my point with all of this, even though he trained me in very simplistic stuff, but it was so easy for me to do. He actually told me, he said, you should not be able to do this so easily. It comes natural. For me, it's natural. Okay, I gotta move again, guys. Oh, really should be on pain meds. So that all said, if he had known about 2019, because we were not in contact anymore. Well, there were safety security issues, the reasons why we were not in contact. He was protecting me, and I was protecting him. And yeah, he still protects me from the other side. Sorry, I just heard something else. Somebody else just said something. At least it got a smile. Anyway, and actually there's a couple of friends of mine, a couple of really close friends who've actually met him. They're living, breathing human beings, and he has gone to them and has talked to them. So they know that this is a real person. I actually had a family member, and try to figure out how to say this. I actually had a family member and a dear friend actually tell me this guy is not who he says he is, and I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Inebriated. Yeah, he was very inebriated. Yes, Artoon is asking, was the pulse like a white light blowing up like a bomb? Yeah. You're specifically okay, so this person is asking me about the energy that I used. That's very much like what it was like. The pulse, my energy, like a white light blowing up a bomb. Yeah, it was stronger than that. It literally blew. It didn't just take out their lead guy. When those guys came back, when 2 out of the 3 guys came back, well, there was okay, so there were 4 to start with. I always wondered if the 4th one was real or not. He was standing in another lucid dream that I had created the following night, because I needed a different safe place, and these motherfuckers showed up again. And I had 2 of them on a porch and of a house, and the 3rd one was on the street. And he had head on a swivel attitude and mentality. He was completely geared up. I don't know how else to say it, but to say it that way. And the other 2 were inquisitive. They were asking me point blank, we want to know how you did what you did. Do you know that you injured him, their lead guy, so badly? They tried to guilt trip me. I didn't give 2 shits. I was in protection mode. I was still in protection mode. And while they're talking to me, while the 2 are on the porch of this house talking to me in this lucid dream that I had created, which was supposed to be a safe place for me, here they are presenting themselves on this porch, one sitting, one standing, and trying to guilt trip me into feeling bad for this guy who did a psychic connection and a form of mind rape, trying to get me to feel bad. Oh, pity party type of bullshit. And did you know that you injured him so badly that he will never be able to work again? So fucking what? Then he shouldn't have been doing what the fuck he was doing, should he? Hope you fuckers see this. None of you should have been doing what you've been doing, in my personal opinion. Anyway, when I saw them this following night when they're on the porch talking to me, I had a psychic connection to them. And because of what I was shown by my loved one, previously shown, I instantaneously had this psychic mind-to-mind connection. And I completely blocked them from my mind instantaneously. Didn't know how I did it at the time, just knew that that's what I did. But I could see everything that these people were doing and had been doing for years and years. And how they were not, how shall I say this? They were not level 1. They were, in other words, they weren't the first group. Okay. They were probably, based on my estimation, probably the 20th group. This had been going on, or still is going on, for a long frickin' time. And this connection that they were doing, this psychic connection in REM sleep, they were doing with political people. They were doing with presidents of the United States. They were doing this with presidents and kings and queens of other countries. I could give quite a long list of individuals that I have personally recognized from simple public pictures and videos and newsreels. There are a long list. Okay, we are talking probably a good book's worth of lists of people that they have been doing this to in order to access memories and information. Do I agree with this? Absolutely fucking not. Not by any stretch of the imagination do I agree with this. It is literally a form of mind rape. To do what they're doing, to go into a person's own memories and piece out, take chunks and pieces out of that person's own memories in what actually played out. All they have to do is trigger a memory in the sleeping person, and the sleeping person creates how the situation took place. Do you see how manipulative this is? Do you see how deadly and dangerous this is? And yeah, individuals can be killed in their sleep by doing this form, by using this technique. It is incredibly invasive. And the only reason I ever found out about this, number one, was because of my friend, but who I consider my family member. But in the grand scheme of things, I experienced it firsthand. So that is how I know what took place is real. The fact that I have had witnesses later on to the government asshats, the CIA government asshats in astral in my home. I've had witnesses to them. I've had people come help defend me who were in astral, who witnessed these other operatives. Okay? So that is how I know that this is real. It is really intense, and it is not okay. So that was the first phase, was through lucid dreaming and psychic connections. Okay, I saw how their program operated from almost the very beginning. And it's pretty inventive, to say the least. Whoops. Hello, little one. We need to move some things, don't we? So you have there you go. There you go. You gonna lay down? You gonna lay down? Hi. Oh, big yawns. Big yawns. Oh my! Well, hello, Izzy Beth. Glad to see you here. So that is what took place. That's the first one. That's the first round of the government asshats. Second round was they showed up in Astral. Retired agents. And the reason I know that they were retired was because they didn't know that I could hear them when they were talking to each other. And they were talking to each other in Astral, and yet it wasn't them just talking in Astral. They were actually physically talking to each other back and forth. You've got to be fucking kidding me, dog. Really? Really? All right. Well, I guess I need to move this. Hang on a second, guys. I do not want to lose that's my sewing bag. All right. That better? There you go. Interesting things that we do for dogs. Now, you have a whole nother spot. Anyway, the Ziploc bag back there is filled with some of the sewing stuff. And the painting back here is sitting on top of a bunch of sewing things underneath. So I'd done some hand sewing last weekend. And I have to have this Ziploc bag out because I've got a dog toy to sew up. Because he after 4 months chewed open a hole in one of his dog toys and tried to take all the stuffing out of it. So I've got to refill and hand sew it all back up. Anyway, so the retired agents were seen. They were told, one of them freaked out over the fact that I could hear her, let alone that I could see her. And she was new, but she wasn't so new in this. And she and he were talking and basically said that, yeah, they were using retired agents, and she reminded him that they were not even supposed to be there, that I was, oh God, what is it called? Something non grata. I can't remember the phrase right now. I've got it written down somewhere. Persona non grata. Oh God, I haven't seen that movie, Izzy Beth. The movie Dark City. Okay, so Izzy Beth is asking, are they adjusting the timeline by doing this? No, it's not them screwing with that. That's a totally different subject. What these guys are doing, persona, yes, thank you, persona non grata. Yeah, I was not to be touched. I was not to be fucked with or messed with in any way, shape, or form. And that's what I found out from their conversation. And I had others who were coming and going that were retired. I knew they were retired. I could feel them and feel their energy. Matter of fact, I and others, we were able to track them back. We were able to track them back, straight back to the buildings that they were working out of. Whenever I say building, I keep referring back to the original building that I psychically saw when I tracked them back. There's a specific building, government building out of Florida, that I was able to track them back to. Straight, I mean, You talk about electronically, where you've got devices where they try to hide their connections via numerous other countries all around the world, that type of thing. Well, this was kind of like that, but in astral. And I was able to, I just followed. I mean, they just, and then right straight back to this Florida building. I've got the address and everything somewhere. Can tell you what floor they were off of. Actually, at one point, they were in almost like an underground bunker level type of section of that building. There were many times where, God dang it, driving me nuts. There were many times where they were not, and they were in the upper levels. So yeah, and then when I had friends come and help defend me, because I was by that point I was so freaking tired of it. I mean, this was a daily occurrence, 2-3 times a day. At that point, many different hours of day or night. And the friends that I have were able to be an astral while I defended myself in a very specific way. And one of those friends, she's the one who has a famous quote. She's like, "Damn, Chica, don't ever let me piss you off." Because this one guy, I basically, without even thinking of it, automatically tied his soul cord to where he could not get out of astral again for, well, he came back. God, he was pissed. And I still laugh over it. I shouldn't laugh over it, but I mean, he literally pissed me off enough for coming in and out of my home, trying to blow his cigar and cigarette smoke in my face. And he was sitting in his office, chain smoking while he was doing this in astral, or smoking a very specific kind of stogie cigar. And when he'd get really pissed off at me, he would blow it right in my face. Because he knew I could smell it. He knew I could sense it. And he'd do this like walk around, and then right in my, I'm like, "You motherfucker, I'm done with you." And so a couple of times I called in friends, and she was one to where she's the one who told me, "Yeah, he thinks he's cloaked and it's a piss poor cloak and da da da." And I just got fed up. And she and I were on text message at the time and texting each other back and forth, and sorry, I'm going through a flashback memory of that time. And I just said, "Keep him busy." And she did. And I literally wrapped his soul cord around an anchor. I don't think I've ever talked about that. Tied his soul cord to, do not ask me how I did that. I will not publicly talk about it at all. But I wrapped his soul cord around an anchor of a very large commercial type ship, like a shipping container type ship type of thing. Where you've got those really big anchors and boat chains, the kind where the chains are taller, bigger than me. And I put it to the core of the earth. I said, "I'm done with you, fucker. I'm sick of this shit. Leave me the hell alone." He came back 2.5 weeks later, and he was pissed. Rightly so. but so was I. He was invading my private home. And it is an invasion. So that was a whole nother level. The level that we're at now, so that was level 2, was the retireds. The level we're at now is, actually maybe this should be 4 levels, because after them were the young ones, the keyboarders, as I call them. I call them the typists, the keyboard typists. They were in their 20s. Some of them were able to do astral at the same time. And I had not figured out how I could do this. This is all complete natural ability, folks. This is not, I have not been trained in any of this. Although I suppose if I had been trained, I probably would be very deadly. But my point is that the next phase were these young guys in a CIA building, government building. So I suppose I should call it a government building, not CIA building. Yeah. Artsun says, I understand what you're talking about on how things come easy and how we can see or sense others. Yeah, I mean, it's a natural, it comes as a natural ability. And there are many of us out there, and I'm at 1:11, 1 hour, 11 minutes. You talk about that's a sign. This is meant to be talked about. For those of you who do not understand, look up 111. In angel numbers, in numerology, whatever you want to call it. So the point being is that I was in a chat of somebody's show. I know somebody, I know this person personally, or used to. And I got really pissed off because as I was in chat, I was touching the device that I was using at that given moment in time was my cell phone. And I was in chat on this person's show. Oh, God, there were at least 150 people in the chat at that given moment in time. And a few of you in my chat right now know this person and know this show. It's become rather big now after all these years. There we go. Come on. Live chat. Oh, for Pete fucking sake. Thank you. And so, yeah, Isabeth says psychic is actually our natural state. Yes, it is. And many people do not comprehend that, or they don't realize it. Great comment from both you and Artun. So basically, these were the same guys that had been pestering the shit out of me. And no, it wasn't Cryptid Hunter stream. It was a male. Woo Rider said Cryptid Hunter stream. No, it wasn't. It was the 9 p.m. to midnight Pacific time. Anyway, and I started feeling the energy of Government Asshats in chat. And a lot of them. And I got pissed off. And I put my phone down, and the next thing I know, all I did was touch my phone, and I went right up, and I went through the electronics and through the, I higher consciously went through the electronics and through the internet and went straight to their location. And there were 3 guys, all in their 20s, in a relatively dark, cordoned off room with a 30, 40 something year old woman dressed in professional clothing and high heels. And she was walking up behind them, and I gave them a little electric charge under their keyboard fingers. Just call it that. Didn't even know I could do that. And I literally whispered in each of their ears, leave this show and these people alone. They have not done anything to you. There's nothing wrong with them. Leave them the fuck alone. Within 15 to 20 minutes, thereabouts, somewhere between 10 and 20, they all left. Because one of them really was extremely sensitive to electronic finger shocks. And I said, that's me. And you're going to leave these people alone. Got the point across. I got really pissed off. You start effing. Yeah. Correct name. I'm not reading that out loud, though. Correct name, Woo Riders. I got really pissed off because a lot of the people that were in chat at that time were old school, long-time listeners, long-time followers of that show. And I'm like, no, I know a lot of these people. I knew quite a lot of them quite well. And I was like, that's it. It's one thing to follow the stream. It's a completely different when you start effing with people. No. No, that's not okay. And I let that individual, I private messaged them and let them know. And they didn't provide a thumbs up, but they gave me a nod. And then after that specific show, while they were still on YouTube air, stated my name and stated that they got the message. And basically, I got a thank you in no uncertain terms. So there's certain things I will not put up with. That's one of them. Somebody's finally relaxed. Big sigh. Good. Maybe you'll get some sleep now. He did really well with me. I had to walk him twice, and I could barely walk today. So the fact that he didn't yank and pull on me till he saw a rabbit. Different story. He's like, oh, I want the rabbit. Anyway, so yeah, it's natural ability. So the first two, you have the government asshats using the techniques that they're using via psychic mind control, but it's a form of mind rape. To access a person's memories. And I thank God every day for I say this, but I actually, I thank God as often as I possibly can for meeting the person that I did and knowing what he and I had in numerous different past lifetimes. No, it's only the live ones. Artun is asking, do you think they are watching when we watch your old shows? No, I don't. Now I do know okay, I need to make a clarification on that one though. I do know that if they are not watching a live broadcast, that they will catch one of the old ones, but it doesn't mean that they're following it. It's me. It's not any of my followers. It's not any of my. It's nothing to do with anybody else. This is simply because I pissed them off. It's because of the fact that I have information about that book. That's where all of this comes down to. The fact that I turned them down. The fact that I told them to take a flying leap off a short pier. The fact that I told them to F off. I denied them access to something that they want. This is about control. That's just matter of fact. It's about them controlling. It's about them controlling the narrative. It's about them owning anything and everybody that they possibly can. They don't want this information out. Why do you think I get watched all the time? So the third phase of this for me has been where I've had older, like Catherine, who is a CIA agent of some kind. She's in Astral. She's in my home. She's the one that I call the cat litter lady, because anytime she comes in here, not only do I feel her before she even enters, usually, depending upon what level of pain I'm in or what level of pain med I'm on. And lately I've had to be on a number of different pain meds because my back has not been okay. Like in the last couple of days, it's not just been the back, it's been my legs are very swollen, which is one of the reasons why I had problems walking this morning. Oh, somebody's asleep and snoring. Good deal. So for whatever reason, my legs swelled and it caused a lot of problems, and I ended up backing out of the S4 bunker last night because of it. Because I had been up for 2.5 days trying to get a number of things electronically done. And it triggered more issues with my legs, which meant today made for a difficult time with my body. Those are the consequences. So, now I had anticipated talking about SSP. Haven't gotten there yet, but I wanted to get into this because the person that had given me permission to read their question instead of me, hello. Okay, the rest of that I don't need. Who had given me permission, that meant that I didn't have to use a certain phrase and kind of skirt around it to some degree. So I very, very much I could give you a great big hug for that. Thank you very, very much to the person who had allowed that question to be read. They are not the only ones who've asked me questions, but this is, I really wanted to get this out, this information, because it is confusing. It is very confusing. This is, I mean, this information, there's so much of it. And I understand why this can be confusing. So you have the ones who, the asshats who were doing via sleep, via REM sleep, psychic connection via another person's REM sleep phase. Then you've got the asshats who were retired, pulling the astral, very piss poorly too, I might add. And they thought which is interesting, because one of the things that my friend had stated when she was witness to these people, one of the first things is she stated they actually believe that they've got a really good cloaking system mechanism on them, and it's really bad. She said, I don't need to get into all of that, but it was really bad. And pretty much they were all doing it like that. So these ones don't even bother putting a freaking cloak on. They don't even bother. And Catherine, that's information I've received psychically. That's her first name. Somebody actually gave me, there we go, an operative's name, CIA operative's last name. I think I said it last week. So you'd have to look that up in the description box. I think I said name, government name, or just name. In the description, I said that already. So and this is the other thing. Because of all of these things, the very first incident in March 2019, it definitely woke me up as to how severe they, CIA, the U.S. government, are involved in these situations, or in situations. So in answer to your question, they listen in on you when you're awake and asleep, ? I said, there is zero such thing as privacy. And there's not. There is no such thing as privacy anymore. I have retired military friends who have the knowledge regarding tech. They're not that long ago retired, let's put it that way. And they have the knowledge. And they're like, Nikki, you have to understand that even in a cave, there are specific ways that we, or they, could listen. Unless you're in a specific far back section of a cave, it's not going to be, they're not there. You won't be able to hear it. You won't be able to get a signal, that kind of thing. Excuse me. So I learned a lot from those friends, those retired military friends. Number of them have told me very similar things. Hello. Very similar things. And it's fascinating to me how they all talk about it. Yeah, Amy just came on and said the sweeps, they call that. Yeah, It is. It's a form of sweeps, and it's done typically what I've been told via satellite. And oh my, okay. So apparently must be a shadow on my wall that is me. Yeah, that's my head. Okay. So are you actually? Oh, please tell me you're not following. Yes, you are. Son of a diddly. Okay. Well, at least you'll stay now. Stabilize it. So yeah, it's done via satellite. I had a friend in the 1990s. Her husband stated to a family member of mine, "Look, I've got a good friend who is FBI and back then we didn't have cell phones back then. They weren't even, well, okay, technically we did, but they were this freaking big. I mean, they were the giant things with the really long freaking antennas that were like this big. Anyway, he was saying that his friend in the FBI was saying, oh, yeah, they can listen to anything in a room, even from a phone. And at that time, they had corded phones in the early 1990s. And I mean, that was a hell of an eye-opener to me. Then having naturopathic doctors tell me to watch in the news, I couldn't think of the word, in the newspapers for people who were dying. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean? And I got told to watch for when there are unusual car accidents or heart attacks or medical conditions, things to where up and coming rising stars is how it was phrased to me. I gotta move again. Up and coming rising stars in sciences, whether it's doctors, whether it's somebody who was in the process of a breakthrough, whether you've got a college student or a high school student, usually it was college students back then, who were in the process of making some big breakthrough and all of a sudden they died from whether a car accident or sorry, I have real need to pop things right now. It's driving me nuts. Car accident or some rare brain tumor or some form of cancer or something that is unusual or something that was of the norm, but yet something's not quite right about it. And I got told by a number of naturopathic doctors, keep an eye out for that kind of thing because these people are being killed off. Wow, I had no idea how true that was. I watched the newspapers. We had the Seattle Times and the Seattle PI. And then you had, what was the New York one? Not the New York Post. It was there were 4 newspapers that you could get in Seattle unless you were at Pike Place Market, which you could get almost any newspaper in the country back then. I don't know about now, but back then you could. You had a newspaper out of New York. You had the Seattle PI and the Seattle Times. And you had the other one. It wasn't US Today or US Times. It was US something. I don't remember what it is right now. Anyway, and so those were the 4 main, somebody's being a smartass and saying food groups. F off. I'm not, don't do that to me right now. Dude, really piss me off. They're being a smartass. They think it's funny, and it's not right now. Anyway, so I watched. I knew people that had the USA something or other newspaper. I had two different family members, one that had the Times and one that had the PI. And so as I'm going through the newspaper for coupons, because I was a coupon clipper back then, single, double, and triple coupons, because hello, we have family to feed, and coupons were the way to go back then. And it was just very interesting. I really watched, and I paid attention. And it was appalling how many situations of that. And then you go to the library and you start doing research. Oh, then you really had something to be concerned over. If I didn't have certain people in my life, I would not have known certain information. So, and I'm very thankful for those people that walked through my life, because I learned so much from them. Whether it's this person that I call my family member who was government, or whether it was the naturopathic doctors, because I started getting heavily into herbs and naturopathic care, and even to the point of being called, and back then it was a really bad word, bad phrase, bad whatever back then, of being a prepper. You were a conspiracy theorist, and you were this awful person if you were a prepper. It was really negative and detrimental back then. So, yeah, there's a lot that went on. So, there is no such thing as privacy anymore. It's just not out there. Yeah, okay. So I went on and I said, so because of that first incident with them where I knew I was under attack and I defended myself using my own energy, it is because of that very incident that they came back the following night to say to me, we want to know exactly how you did that. And I told them to fuck off. They're not going to know from me how I did that. And then they offered me a job. So that's how all of this came about, was because of me asking a retired CIA operative, retired profiler, and retired hypnotist about that book. Okay? So that's how all this came about. I had no idea, no real idea, that the government could do all these things. There was almost like a land of make-believe, and it most definitely is not. It's very real. They have the ability to do this. They do use it. And I believe that every person on this planet should be aware of it, including every political person and every single solitary other country should be aware of it. I do not believe that this is okay. There are things that I will call out. That's one of them. Then there are things that I will say, do your goddamn fucking job and protect the people you're supposed to protect. Such as, today was May 1st. In the United States, today was May 1st. In some other countries, it was yesterday. Bless you. A little delayed, but it's bless you. Anyway. And you get somebody like me with psychic visions and psychic downloads and you start seeing certain things, it's like, okay, I've given you the information. Frickin' do your goddamn job and go and protect these people the way you're supposed to. And quit coming at me. Because coming at me is a waste of your time. And hello, it's a waste of taxpayer money. These effers are being paid by the U.S. Citizens. Think about that. Think about the monetary issue here. Because they're not doing this for their jollies. They're getting paid to do this shit. Which means it's taxpayer money, folks. Think about that. You want to get pissed off about something? You don't want to be pissed off about it? Fine. But I, as an American citizen, I'm not okay with that. That's targeting in a very specific way. You want to target people? Go after the real ones who are doing hardcore shit and negative crap. Detrimental shit. I'm not doing detrimental shit. I'm simply talking about the truth and my experiences and what has happened. And they don't fucking like it? Screw them. No. So that's how this all came about. I've had people ask me point blank, why would they target you? Well, that's why. That's how it's come about. That's what's taken place. It's incredibly angering. It's incredibly detrimental. The fourth thing is, so you got the first one with the asshats and the government asshats and psychic connection via REM sleep. And then you got the government asshats retired in astral. Then came the missing one. What the fuck am I missing? I just had it. Now it's gone. Shit. Then I started getting targeted with D weapons in 2021 because and it's interesting because the operatives that were in astral and connecting to me, those were the retired ones, because they couldn't get anywhere with me. They started targeting me with the direct energy weapons and the infrared weapons and the microwave weapons. Have you ever felt like you've been on fire before? I am here to tell you it is not fun. I've had all kinds of health problems because of this stuff I don't talk about. I don't even tell my closest friends. Those that live with me, they've seen it. They know it. What is some of those health consequences? I'm not going to talk about those publicly. Because then it gives these fuckers a leg up to know that they're causing me damage. I'm fighting my own health. I'll be damned if I'm going to allow you fuckers to cause me some kind of health issue. Screw you. No. I'm fighting for my life. It's to the point where I'm fighting for my life. I know people that have cancer right now because of being targeted by these weapons. I know people that have died because of having these weapons used on them. Because they were simply talking about their experiences and, oh, gee, it happens to be because the government has done it to their own citizens. don't trust your own government. I make no bones about that. I do not trust them. And if you do so, you're doing it blindly. You're doing yourself an injustice. People have good intentions, but as a whole, no, it's everybody for themselves. So, I'm doing what I can. I'm talking about it. I was asked not just by this one person, but by a couple of people to talk more about this. So I am. If you have liked any of the information or are appreciative of this information, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Share it out if you think it's conducive. Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh, the legs. Please share it out if you think it's conducive to the audience that you have, whether that's on Facebook or Twitter or wherever else you want to post it. If you have more questions, please feel free to message me. I will answer to the best of my ability. And I tell people if I can answer it, I'll answer it. If I don't know it, I may know somebody else who might have the answer, and I'll refer you to them. Or I will see if the person will respond to me, and I will provide you with that answer with their name and their credit. Trying to think of anything else. So one of the things that this person asked about are crystals. And I think Faraday Cage or something along the lines of Faraday Cage being mentioned. So for other people who are targeted with energy weapons, because there's a lot of us out there that are experiencing this, I'm not alone in this. And this is very expensive. I actually know somebody. I know a retired engineer who worked for all the big name agencies, who turned their own house into one great big Faraday cage. And the only way that they have internet or phone service, they've got a landline in the home, but a cell phone outside of the home. And the only way that they are able to use internet is when they're outside of the home. Because they know all the tips and lovely tricks of these companies, these aerospace companies, and the government. They literally, it took them over, I think it was like a year and a half. I think it was something along the lines of a year and a half. It took them over time to turn their inside of their home and part of the outside of their home into one giant Faraday cage. I fully agree with him doing that. Totally and completely agree with him. Okay, now there's things. Artoon, if two people connect, does that make them stronger since they connected their mind powers? Yes. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've been connected. There have been times where I've been connected with somebody else, telepathically linked, and the two of us can do, or hell, for that matter, the three of us are. I've been on a 5-man team where we've all been psychically connected. You can do a great deal of things when you're in a team, whether it's a 2-man team or a 5-man team. You can do a lot of things. And it's incredibly, It not only is it incredibly powerful, it is incredible to do it. It's almost like a psychic high. And being high psychically is completely different than being high from any drug, any, whether it's pharmaceutical or natural. It is completely different. And I will say that you've got to be very careful with having that kind of a high, because it will screw with your electrolytes. It will screw with the brain in a way to where you need more protein right after. Oh, I forgot about the jump rooms. Thank you, Amy. Please leave that up. I will ask it in just a moment. Thank you. So yeah, there are numerous different things that a team can do where an individual may not be able to do. You're much more powerful in numbers. And it's interesting because since the 1990s, I have stated, I think it was like 95 or 96, I think. But since then, I have stated very predominantly, with a lot of people have stated this too, that, and I don't believe it's just the United States, I believe that it's globally. Hang on, Artoon, I'll answer that in just a moment too. That one might be an easier answer than the one for Amy. So Amy, you might have to wait a little bit. So ooh, that brought a huge smile to my face. Anyway, so regarding teams, I mean, you got to be very careful. You got to really significantly trust the people that you're teaming with regarding psychic links. When it comes to that, 1995, 96, 94, 95, 96. I'm trying to think of how old my kid was at the time. No, it was 95, 96. No, 90, 95, 96. Okay. Sorry. The United States, or possibly globally, it will become outlawed. It will become illegal to be a psychic. So, I am here to tell you, make your contacts now. Be in touch. Go underground if you have to. I'm not joking when I talk about this. I still believe this. I got a psychic download in 95, 96, that time frame. I'm trying to remember what season it was. I don't really care right now. I don't want to go down that pathway. But anyway, the point is that in 95, 96, I got a psychic download. That's not what I called it back then, but it was a psychic download. And I got shown that in time, over the course of a great amount of time, it will become illegal to be a psychic and a medium. You will not be allowed to talk about it. The control will be very, very specific on it. I do not know how that gets implemented, nor do I give two shits how it gets implemented. I strongly believe that all of us as human beings need to advance our higher consciousness. We need to stop what is being done to us, and we need to be working on our own energy. That is what will help release us. Okay? Now, Artun, is it a happy high like you're smiling? It's a... Okay. I gotta move again. It's more than just a... a smile. It's the kind of high, energetically wise, it is your body radiates. And what I mean, vibrates, radiates, it's a certain frequency in your body, and you physically hum. Every cell in your, ouch. Every cell in your body literally starts this, lack of better words, hum. Okay? In the process of that, not only are you raising your frequency, but you are also elevating your higher consciousness. And when you elevate your higher consciousness, you hit a completely new level of ability. You raise your higher consciousness to a specific level that goes beyond such, for example, Kai, I remember last week, had asked me point blank about if I was remote viewing something. And remote viewing is a form of higher consciousness work, but this goes way beyond that. This goes into, so I've stated this quite publicly on a number of occasions. Well, not that many occasions, but enough. In the course of my 3 seasons of talking about everything under the sun, I have been able to, in higher consciousness, I've been able to be in 5 places at once. Okay? And interact. All right? So that is a completely different, there we go, ball game, other than remote viewing. Couldn't think of the words. So remote viewing typically uses one level, not the bottom level, but it uses one level of higher consciousness state. The higher consciousness state that I'm talking about, where you are on a psychic high, it is your frequency level gets raised, your mind, your thinking elevates in a whole new way than you've ever thought imaginable. Everything in your body heals. I'm not joking. When I've had this happen, when I've done this form of higher consciousness, this specific level, every pain in my body stops. Every level of illness shuts down. Totally and completely stops. Okay? Because everything is going to the higher consciousness states or state, depending upon how many higher consciousness levels you're in. And it is incredibly appreciative that takes place, and I didn't even realize it was that late. It is incredibly beautiful when that happens as well. So just be aware of that, okay? Okay, so Amy's question. The other thing, that's what I was going to say, is in those higher consciousness states, so you want protein near you, so like protein bars, energy bars. Oh, somebody's on a motorcycle. That's what I'm hearing. Protein bars, almonds, peanuts, nuts, whatever protein shake near you, high protein, low carb shake. That's what I'm talking about here. Or piece of cheese or cottage cheese, whatever, eggs or what have you, whatever it is, it needs to be high protein because this affects the brain in specific ways. The other thing is electrolytes. This will affect your electrolyte system, total and complete electrical system in your body because you are using a specific form of energy. Oh my, are you okay? Whoa. Wow, were you out of it? Pup just did something I've never seen before. He's fine, but wow, that was interesting. So there's your answer to that. Make sure that you're hydrated before you go in, if you can be, and make sure that you've got protein because you will be ravenous afterwards. I know I am. I know others that are as well. So just be very aware of that. Oh, tired baby. There you go. He's readjusting again. Anyway, so Amy's question about jump rooms. Okay. Oh, finally, at least one of them popped. The question I had was on jump rooms. The amount of power they would require to make a single jump would be the same of what a large city would consume over several years. What is it powered by? That's an excellent question. And unfortunately, all I know is it's ET based. It's ET based in the sense of it's some kind of energy that, okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm getting shooting pains. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. I apologize. It's some kind of ET based power. These jump rooms have been there for a lot longer than humans. According to what I remember, a lot longer than humans have been alive. So these are, as far as I know, they are ET based. Okay, and the implication being that is technology is not human. Yes, correct. Another implication is they could power the world for free if they wanted. Yes, they could. And they're choosing not to. That all comes down to control. That all comes down to greed. They do not want people knowing what could be really done because we would be living in a completely different society, a completely different kind of freedom. We don't have to be using this earth for our energy. We do not have to have vehicles. Hell, there's vehicle. Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about that. And I think I already have at least once. No, yeah, only once. Okay. So on this planet, there are I haven't talked about this. On Earth, there's an ET base, solely only ET base that I know about. That I know about because of somebody else. There are ET vehicles that are the only way I can classify it as is like they're hover vehicles. They are ET energy based, and the energy can last at least 1 million years, according to how I understand this. That's no joke. Can you imagine a planet to where we are not controlled by petroleum? We're not controlled by oil. We're not controlled by gasoline. Think about that. Think about what that would do to this planet and the populations. Think about what that would do to the farming communities of this planet. The kind of crops we could have. Seriously, think about that. That's pretty incredible. And it's no joke. I can't say that. I can't say that because it would reveal information that I've never talked about that to or with anybody. So, it's truly incredible how much control is on this planet. How much hardcore thumb screws on this planet there are. It's about control and it's about greed. What would happen to governments? What would actually, think about this, what would actually take place on this world if we had an unlimited source of energy that is not nuclear, that is not via anything we can even remotely conceive of? We'd be all over in space. We're already all over in space. That's beside the point. But that's hidden. That's hidden from the populations of this planet. It'd be a completely different kind of warfare. For those countries who fight, it would be a completely different kind of warfare. It'd be actually more horrific, if you think about it, because of the different political people in control of their countries. Think about the healthcare. With those kind of technologies, think about how many things would change. It can be kind of frightening, but at the same time, the advantages would be innumerable. It would be absolutely incredible. The medical care system, it would set everything on its ear, as the old saying goes. Amy, on the psychic laws that are possible, one trick to win against them is called a dispositive motion to suppress, not legal advice, remembering the term. Yeah. I mean, this is an incredible thing. It's already on this planet. It's just who has control over it. And that specific kind of thing the ETs do, because they own it. They brought it to this planet. Okay, somebody keeps trying to remind me about the ET base in Marysville, in a lake. I keep getting drawn back to that lake. Off and on for the last, trying to think of how long it's been. No, I need a calendar in front of me. Just a second, guys. There's a reason I'm talking about this, and I'm trying to figure out exactly why. Okay, so today is Thursday. 24th. It's been since the 19th or 20th. So Saturday the 19th, Sunday the 20th of last month of April. So this is a week and a half. Of this being drawn to my attention again. Don't know why. Don't care why. There's a specific lake in Marysville near or really close to, one of the Indian reservations, one of the reses, outside of Marysville, inside of Marysville. No, it would be outside. Semantics. Anyway, there's a specific lake that a couple of years ago, last year, 2023? Yeah, 2023. They mentioned it. They came in as somebody I personally have known since the 1990s, talked about it, and talked about how there's paranormal around it and how it's a black lake. For whatever reason, I'm getting drawn back to that lake. Well, there were ETs coming and going out of that lake. And the second I connected to that lake, I saw the ET base, I saw how it was, and then it got locked down because they found out that I knew about it. I think they're trying to reactivate that. I would highly suspect, because I'm being shown numerous times since the 19th and 20th of April, that the ETs are possibly trying to reactivate because I can see it. I can actually see it as I'm talking right now. There's an underwater entrance and exit. It's a tunnel so they've got, these are flying ships. Okay, these are ships. They fly into the tunnel. There's a lever or something that, like a stopgap, like a wall, a sealed wall. As soon as the ship enters this tunnel, and it's all air, there's a wall in front, and then there's a tunnel filled with water, and a rock wall that goes out, that opens and closes and goes out into the lake. And when they hit the tunnel that is an air pocket, that air pocket gets filled with water. The door comes down, the door wall to the lake opens, and they go out, and then they fly up and out of this lake. And they're in a cloaked ET ship, and these are small cloaked ET. I mean, like small, like one person size, small, possibly two people, but it's not quite. Anyway, I think they're reactivating that entrance, but the So folks on the res, if you're in that area, the paranormal may start again with that lake. And just by me saying that, I don't remember the name of the lake, but just by me saying that, you'll probably know which lake I'm talking about. And based on what I remember from last time, it's a small lake, like really small lake. It's not very big at all. Anyway, didn't expect to talk about that tonight either. Sorry. Now I'm tired. Okay. Oh, the Faraday Cage. So for those that are targeted, because I wanted to get back to this, for those that are targeted, and I talked about my friend, or I haven't talked to him in a long time, the retired engineer who created turned his house into an incredible Faraday box. You can actually do that to an apartment or a bedroom. You can turn a room into a Faraday box, or if you are specifically targeted in certain things, you can sleep with Faraday fabric over you. Now, I'm not sure what to do about the face because, hello, you got to breathe. Unless you create a box around your head and it's a Faraday box, and you come and go out of that. So, but Faraday fabric is another way to go. Another way is via copper pipes and creating pyramids, large pyramids in a bedroom, and the bed is in the middle of the pyramid, and you've got a large crystal over the top of at the top of the pyramid, at the peak of the pyramid, copper wired to the pyramid. I've known people to do that. I can't say how I know people to do that, but those that are targeted get very inventive and they learn about these frequencies that are being used against them. And interestingly enough, if you look on certain government websites, you'll find how some of these technologies are being used. So just an FYI, do your research now, because I'm sure once I've talked about that, that'll get locked down. So trying to think of other things. Faraday coat. You can wear a Faraday coat. One of the things that I've thought about is creating a Faraday fabric around my neck to protect my thyroid from thyroid cancer. So there's that kind of thing going. If you sew Faraday fabric, you better put a piece of Faraday tape over those seams. That's the other thing. So think about that. If you've got devices in your home, try putting those in a Faraday box next to your bed. That way it keeps the EMF from bouncing a specific way. Just think about that for a bit. Let's see. What else? Nope, that's it. That's it on that. Okay. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's it on that. It's a lot of information. Okay, so I didn't get to SSP. I did, talking about the jump rooms. There was something else I wanted to talk about with that, but I'm not remembering what it is at this second, which is fine. It's just kind of how it is. 2 hours and 19 minutes into this. But I really wanted to answer some of the questions, more specifically this one person's questions, because it's an all-encompassing, very much what a lot of other people have asked me. But they were more succinct in their questions, if that makes sense. So I really wanted to get into that because I didn't realize, and it is confusing, that some of this can be confusing with what I've talked about, and sometimes we just need to go back over information, and that's fine. What the hell else was I gonna... Let's see, hang on a second. Government Psychic, Astral, Asshats, SSP, and Extraterrestrials. Yeah, I didn't get to the Extraterrestrials either. Okay, live streaming. I am going to, and I'm going to say this publicly, that is my idea. I am going to come up with a book. I don't know how I'm going to publish it. And this is for children. Regarding certain information that deals with at a child's level, so that we can start preparing these kids, these kids, young kids, to not scare them about ETs, to not fearmonger them. And we need to do it in a healthy manner. There's a certain kind of agenda in numerous communities, and I'm learning that a lot of different things are geared towards kids now. It's time, and we're now at 2:22. Oh, very interesting. We're at a time in history when we... Sorry, I just literally saw 4 number 2s. Oh, wow. That's cool. 2, 4, 5 2s. Well, that's pretty cool. Anyway, another sign. Wow. We need to gear up our young ones and not fearmonger the way the government has fearmongered, the way Hollywood has fearmongered, the way a lot of people are fearmongering, and we need to stop that. And kids have questions. There have been some very interesting questions I've had, not as of late, but I have had them. And I think it's important that kids understand certain things. And if they don't understand, then at least pictures will not hopefully make them so frightened. Because a lot of they're not scary. It's shocking at first. And then it's like, oh, there's a soul in that extraterrestrial. Or for that matter, in a Earth terrestrial, in underground cities. So anyway, just, oh my. I had no idea my leg was that swollen. Ooh, I didn't realize it was that bad. It doesn't feel that bad right now. Oh boy. Anyway, so apparently it's time to go. The SSP thing, I did create, let's see if I can find it. Nope, wrong thing. I gotta get rid of that. Let's move you. Let's do this. I did create I put all of these images together, and all but 2 are, whoops, apparently I need to unconnect. Come on, unconnect, thank you. Apparently all but 2 of these are AI created, but they're things that I created, like the ET ship with that. I actually made that. That's art that I made via the computer. Everything else, and that's a picture of me, which of course you can't really see. It's actually on the opening to my live stream. And then the rest of this is Facebook Meta AI that was created for me. This is the closest image I could get of one of my ET children, one of the girls. And then these are 3 images that represent me in SSP 4, excuse me. I don't know if you're able to see this one, but that is the most current one that I did this week of me. It's a representation, is how I should state that, of me in SSP on a jump pad. It's the closest I could get. That's the closest I could get. But the problem is that the AI would not and could not create a box underneath it. It actually is on a box. It's on a square like box. And the next one, the next one it created, okay, next, come on. Next one it created was this. I enlarged it, but that's as close as I could get. But it's on a cement. It's on a square cement with a circle in the middle. And they put me in a uniform with a bunch of these militaristic flight things, and I just went, okay, that's not what was, but that's the AI, that's Meta Facebook AI. That's as close as I could get it, with cement walls in the background. I tried to get it to where the cement walls were closer, which it wouldn't do. The AI wouldn't do. And I wanted me in a black uniform. And it put in all of these badges and bric-a-brac, and I'm just like, no, that's not what I wanted. But that's as best as I could get it to do for me. So just imagine that this round thing is on a platform that is about I keep remembering 3 cement stairs, but in actuality, I just remember stepping up onto it. And I keep getting the number 26, like 26 inches. So you've got like 3 stairs and then the platform. But I have a physical muscle memory of where I step up and it's about 6 to 8 inches. And I take one large step up onto it, and then 2 steps, and you're in the middle. And it's a circle on a cement square platform. And the circle is some kind of device with that goes down into the center, and then that the electronics, the ET whatever is underneath it, and then there's some kind of like a tunnel in the cement. I call it cement because that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like to me, but I don't believe it is cement. I don't know what it is, but I don't. It's not cement, but that's the only thing I can even remotely come close to classifying it as. So it's got a hole, and the hole comes out with the electronics, and the electronic tubes or pipe or whatever goes to a device that is about 4 to 6 feet away from the platform. So that's how I remember it. Some more of that memory may change. I don't know. I mean, when I enlarge and expand all of it and don't become so afraid of it, because that memory actually scares the crap out of me. I do not like the machine. I literally black out. I have no memory. That's all I remember is stepping up onto it, taking that 2 steps forward, and I'm in the middle then. And I have no recollection of talking to anybody. I have no recollection of how I get from that one platform, and then it's like I'm waking up walking through the door of the other place on Mars. All I know is this is ET technology. Somehow I don't quite understand all of it. I don't care to know. I don't give 2 shits, quite honestly. I should. I know that. I understand that, but I don't. I don't give 2 shits about it. Everybody else wants to know about it. Fine. I'm sorry, I can't tell you. If I knew, if I remembered, I would be talking about it. There's something very fearful for me stepping up onto that platform and then the only way I can classify it is waking up, because that's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. So it's like it's like my higher consciousness will not allow me to remember it. There's a reason for that. It's called safety. It's also a form of I can't handle the kind of fear that I have with it, and I literally black myself out. There's a reason. There's probably a very damn good reason for it, because not a lot truly frightens me. And if that frightens me, there's a damn good reason it frightens me. And I, quite honestly, I don't want to know what that is. I really don't. There are things that I'm not supposed to know. I understand that. I think that's one of them. So that's what I wanted to talk about regarding SSP. So I'm glad that Amy had brought up the question again. I very much appreciate that. Oh. And regarding the Mayday vision, yeah, it was supposed to take place today, and and there was another situation that was quote unquote, and it was supposed to be the bloodiest Mayday ever recorded, and it would be making history. Now, I started to check the news earlier today, and the hormones, the combined hormones with the emotions of what I watched, I just ended up into almost nearly into a bawling. And I went, nope, we're done. This is why I don't watch news. There's too much shit going on in this world right now. Too much negativity, too much. And it is not conducive to my mental health to constantly be watching the news. Hello. Yeah, you got that half eye open, half eye closed. So, I mean, I'm aware of things, but like there were 2 presidents in some newsreel that I saw from yesterday, I believe it was. And I started getting psychic stuff. I'm like, no, I'm out. I don't know. There's certain things I'm done. And people can be really pissed off at me for that. Fine. So fucking what? This is how I am surviving. Okay? You survive in how you survive, in the way that you know you can survive. This is how I am surviving this time right now. There are things I don't want to know about, because not only will I get really angry with the kind of energy that I've got and can use at will, I do not want that kind of energy out there. I'm doing what I can to protect me and mine, meaning my loved ones, in the way that I can. I do believe in right and wrong, which is one of the reasons why I gave out the psychic information in a public way regarding some information last week. I do believe government should be doing their job and not harassing me, but doing their job in what they're supposed to be doing. And it was the right word, encumbered upon me. Not sure if that's the right phrase, but anyway, it was shown to me repeatedly that today, and apparently it's 10:39 p.m. Pacific time right now, our day in the Pacific Northwest is not done yet. In others across the country, it's long past done. So my point, and I do not want to see that on my screen. The hell is the... Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. No, please don't take a dive. Thank you. And hello. Oh, now we got the twitches going. There we go. And the loud snoring. Joy. There we go. We'll leave it at that. I did not want to see that other thing on my screen. So, you know, you do you, I gotta do me. I literally shut off the psychic stuff when I started seeing these 2 officials from 2 different countries, and I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm gone. There are reasons why I get certain things, and then there are times where it just becomes inundating, and I'm like, nah, I'm done. I do not have to see that. And I don't see things all the time, but when you start and you're already fed up, and I know people that would get really pissed off at me for that. I don't give 2 shits anymore. Think what you want. I'm doing what I need to survive on a daily basis. And when I have the other side pestering the ever-loving shit out of me since February, middle of February, it's the middle of February. No, it's not the end of the first week. It's the beginning of the second week of February. Trying to remember the timeline. But when you first start getting images, psychic images, and told phrases, and told different pieces of information, one after another, and you're getting months worth of information, and then you get a psychic download with something really horrific, you start paying attention. And when one of those two people is on your TV screen for news, who happens to be... Nope, I can't say that. No, I need to clarify. I'm choosing not to say that for my own safety's sake. Because I do not need certain government agencies at my front door. They know how to contact me if they want to contact me. So, yeah. Just watch your back, folks. Be careful. Pay attention to what's going on. If you can handle all the information that is out there, which is a lot right now, there's a lot of shit going on out there. Look into prepping. You know, there's a reason. I've always known there was a reason for me dealing with prepping. And it's because at some point we're going to have stuff. Oh my, big stretch. We're going to have things that are going to start happening. They've been happening over the course of time. It's just become predominantly worse. It will get better. Know that. It's going to take a little bit of time. And people need to cool their jets about that because change takes time. There's also detrimental change, so just be aware of that as well. Make sure that you've got your to-go bags. Make sure that your loved ones, your fur babies, are protected in whatever way. Don't know, I'm not saying anything's going to happen anytime soon, but just be prepared. You know, that way you're not caught off guard, you're not caught on surprise, and you've got the things that you need when it is time to go. If it's time to go, at least you got things. Change your stuff up inside if it's food or edible. Change it out periodically. Put it on your calendar. I used to do that all the time. I used to, when I got my to-go bags done up for the three of us back in the day, back when my kid was little, I made sure that I had stuff for him, stuff for all three of us, and you write it on the calendar, and you change out that food stuff periodically, and you put it into your regular, I was going to say supplies. That's not what I mean. I had the phrase and now it's gone. You put it in your other chain of food supplies, and you replace the one that you took out for a fresh one, because you do not want those kind of things going stale or getting old, especially if you've got protein bars and things like that. So, here's the other thing I was going to say. If you've ever seen one of my eyes get wonky, I don't think I've ever publicly talked about this. After my back injury in 2008, around 2010, I had a mini stroke. I don't think I've ever publicly talked about that. You can see it actually on one side of my face more than the other. I was on the phone at the time with a longtime friend, And she goes, you're slurring your words. I'm like, no. And yeah, I've since talked with a couple of neurologists since then over the years. Ouch. So Team Woo still here. Hey, Woo Riders, I'm glad you're still here. Thank you, dear. So if you notice one side of my face a little bit different or one of my eyes acting a little differently, that's why. I've really started noticing it more when I've had to go back over videos for whatever reason, which, believe me, I don't do willingly. But that's just, if you notice stuff like that, that's why. One side of my face doesn't droop or anything like that, but I have dealt with it. I have talked with professionals about it. And it's interesting, only one doctor out of all of them ever caught it. Out of all the doctors I've ever seen since 2010, there's only one who's ever caught it. Actually, point blank asked me, have you had a stroke? Interesting. Why do you ask? That's a whole nother subject. So anyway, yeah, I understand that. Excuse me for yawning, guys. Please hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons if you're able. Thank you. Appreciate it. Woo Riders, never told you, but remember my leg condition back in 2023. Really swollen, bad fluids. They still aren't 100%. Probably never will be, but I can wear shoes now and work and actually run a little, climb up ladders, etc. Good for you. Yeah, I'm not supposed to climb ladders. Yeah. And I'm only having problems. Well, I know why I'm having these kind of swelling issues and stuff. So, so just be aware of your health. Know what your limits are, what you can do. Take care of yourself. I didn't even get to the ETs. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, I did. Well, no, I didn't. Talked about regarding children, but pay attention to what's happening with deep underground military bases. Seriously, think about that one. Look into safety, security, and protocols. Those are 3 quoted words from the other side. And I literally just lost all of them except for protocol. Safety, security, and protocols. There's a reason why I'm saying that, and apparently I'm supposed to say it. So those 3 words, look into them, figure them out for you personally. Have alternative locations if you need to go someplace or you've got a situation. No, that's actually an excellent question, Woo Riders. Woo Riders just asked, question, do you wish you never had ET contact? No. There are moments I go through those rounds. Then there are times where I wouldn't change the fact that I've got hybrid children for anything. I love my babies. Absolutely, wholeheartedly love my babies. And none of them are babies anymore. They're all adults. They're all adults. And the last time that I heard from one of my kids was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. Oh crap, I gotta look. I gotta look at the calendar again. Come on. No, well, that's May 1st. Come on. Move. Thank you. 1, 2. Excuse me. 2.5. 1, 2. 2.5, almost 3 weeks ago. Closer to 3 weeks. That's the last time I talked to one of my babies, who's an adult now. Oh, cannot stand them. I'm not reading that question out loud, Woo Writers, but that's an excellent question. Please leave it in my chat. I kid you not. Cannot stand them. That's an excellent question, dear boy. Yeah. Family here is a different ballgame. Love me, but there are things that they don't believe. Quote unquote, because I've not experienced them myself. So it makes it difficult for them to believe a lot of the things that I talk about. I understand that. Totally and completely. And if my mom were alive and cognizant, I'm sure she would start backing me up. The fact that she came and talked to me in astral, I started crying when I asked her if she remembered the ET abduction that we had in Big Bertha. I'll never forget her reaction. Hello, I've got somebody here. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're new. This is a government asshat in astral. And they smell like carpentry. I think it's a man. They smell like carpentry dust. Matter of fact, you're closing off part of my airways because it's really strong. It literally smells like shaved wood. It reminds me of one of my great uncles. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad smell. It's just, it's intense. It's like closing off part of the back. And I'm not allergic to this stuff, so I don't understand why it's like closing off part of the back of the roof of my mouth. But yet it's opening up this section of my... That's bizarre. I've never experienced that before. That's interesting. And now they're gone. No, walked out of the room. Oh, they're still here, but they're not in the home. Well, that's interesting. Didn't expect that. Yeah, so I that really, Woo Writers, that really is a good, it is an excellent question. It's, yeah, the interesting thing is that when he and I work together, energetic, people think I'm a powerhouse. You didn't know what he can do. Doesn't have a clue what he can do. Well, it's pretty incredible. Good night, Artune. I'm gonna close off now, so it works out. I'm glad to have you in my chat. I'm glad you're able to watch, and I'm glad you're able to ask me questions. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope you sleep well. Yeah, so it's not taken well. Yeah, it's interesting because the last time they don't like each other. Yeah, that was a fight. I had a matter of fact, that specific infant did not like each other. And it's interesting, they didn't like dogs either. Called them stupid animals, which I don't think I ever stated what he said. But I learned a lot. Learned an awful lot, in fact. Really fascinated me when I was around other, like, wild animals. Attitude was a completely different ballgame. I learned a lot with that pregnancy, with that hybrid pregnancy. A whole lot. Okay. Woo Riders. Desiree has been watching this great movie called A Million Miles Away on Prime Video. Definitely worth checking out. I will do that probably next week. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anyway, yeah, it's long past time for me to go. I'm way too out of it, and I kind of need to take some pain meds to help with some of this, and I need to get my legs up. And do my own energy work, and I had some help from yesterday, so I'm very thankful to Robert, because Robert quite helped with releasing some of the pressure on my legs enough to where the skin was not so tight. So, and this doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, man, when it gets wicked, it gets really bad. Anyhow, Izzy Beth, thanks, and Night All. Yeah, thank you too. I appreciate you being here as well. I thank you all for watching. I thank you all for being here, for asking questions or making comments in my chat. I very much appreciate it. I guess that's it. I hope you have a very good weekend. I hope it is safe and enjoyable. And watch the color changes in your own eyes. Okay, folks? Mine go from blue to green. So, anyway, take very good care. Good night, everybody. Oh, and if you have a question, private message me or in the comment section below on the replay. Write the question in, and if you want me to bring it up on a show, I hate calling these shows, but on a live broadcast or on one of these episodes, tell me that, and I will make note of it in my book and tag it in my book so that it can be asked and talked about next time. Bye, guys. Take very good care of yourselves. Try to, at least. Get some rest in. That's what I'm preaching to the choir here. Hello. Take care. Bye, guys. Okay, I just got told to say God bless. That is directed at somebody very specific. I don't know who. That's all I'm going to say. For everybody else, take care. Be good if you can. Have fun. And laugh as much as you can, because laughter changes frequency. Bye, guys. Take good care.